7 of 8 from the Nationals this year, and they're about to get going from Nationals Park. Now let's get it out to the guys calling the game in D.C. Joe Buck, Tom Verducci, and Harold Reynolds.
Thank you, Kevin. Those numbers aren't any good if you wake up in the morning rooting for the Washington Nationals. But if you love the Braves, you love the 7 out of 8 this season. In 20 of 27 dating back to last year, it's been total dominance, and that's your matchup on Baseball Night in America. The Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals tonight on Fox. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. That's Harold Reynolds. You are Tom Verducci, and you get it first. Why are these numbers so crazy, and why has this series been dominated recently by the Atlanta Braves?
Hard to explain. I'm going to try. The Nationals pitchers, they throw a greater percentage of strikes than any staff in baseball. And the Braves, other than Milwaukee, the most aggressive hitting team. Match that up and you get these results. And no one typifies that Atlanta aggressiveness than Freddie Freeman. He has just worn out Washington pitching this year, .515 batting average. And if you think you can pass him, then you have to deal with Evan Gattis, the catcher hitting behind him. He's hit .391 against the Nationals this year.
Believable. Good job.
Thank you. I tried.
Now to you. It was short-lived. The Washington Nationals made a nice little climb into first place. They're now only a half game out. The division is just absolutely wide open. Who on this roster jumps out at you right now?
Ian Desmond. You know, we always talk about who's going to be the next great player to watch. I think this guy's really turning it around. As he goes, so do the Nationals. You look at the beginning of the year, he struggled in April and May, and so did the club. This is the long home run he hit last night. We're watching somebody on a tear, very similar to Evan Gattis with the Braves. I'll be watching him as well. But look at the numbers that Ian Desmond's been able to put up. And the biggest thing is defensively. In April and May, totally out of rhythm, making a lot of mistakes, a lot of routine ground ball errors. He's shut that down. He's starting to play a lot better, and so is the club.
You guys ready to go?
I'm ready.
I didn't get a good.
Let's go. It's National League East Baseball. It's this good matchup of the Nationals and the Braves. Does the dominance continue? Can the Nationals figure it out? We're about to find out with you on Baseball Night in America on Fox. a Saturday night in Nationals Park.
Hi, buddy.
And they have some kids out on the field getting a chance to meet their Nationals heroes. And what do we hear? His name's Michael. But the guy in the middle that's about to throw it to this lineup, his name is Doug. And the starting lineup for Atlanta brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. They lead it off with a rookie, Tommy La Stella. B.J. Upton bats second in center. Freddie Freeman hits third and first. Evan Gattis red hot. Jason Hayward is in right. Justin Upton is in left. Chris Johnson hitting .281, much better of late. He hits in the 7th spot. Andrelton Simmons, the best defensive shortstop in the game, hits 8th. And there is Doug Fister, who, by the way, will have to deal with Julio Teheran. Good hitting pitcher at the bottom of the lineup for the Atlanta Braves. And Fister, it's a pretty good number 4 starter you can go to here with the Washington Nationals.
Well, I like to say he's the kind of guy, and Harold, you know this, infielders love him. Works fast, throws strikes, and when he's on, throws ground balls.
I thought it was a tremendous steal this winter, picking him up and getting him from Detroit.
Well, here are those defenders who like playing behind Doug Fister, with Ryan Zimmerman in left and Art Span in center. Jason Worth in right. Rendon, Desmond, Espinosa, and LaRoche on the infield, with Lobaton doing the catching. And Doug Fister, who is no stranger to postseason play and little delays when the network folk roll into town, he's taking his own sweet time getting ready for pitch number 1 to Tommy La Stella. We got off to a roaring start in the big leagues. Takes a strike, and we're underway on a Saturday night. This guy came up and had 9 multiple hit games in his first 16 in the big leagues. And he earned his way up into the leadoff spot for Atlanta. He's in the hole here 0-2.
When you talk about earning your way, Joe, he earned his way in front of a guy making a lot of money, too, where they made a serious decision to put Dan Uggla on the bench and let this young man play. And I think some of it, Tom, was because of the way he got off to such a great start.
There's no question this guy can swing the bat.
That's Fister. 1 out. Right back at him off the bat of La Stella. Leadoff man is gone, and B.J. Upton, who is right there with Uggla, only he's in the lineup. Uggla's on the bench, both making around $13 million. B.J. hitting .205. He's hit under 200 since coming to the Braves before last year. Atlanta fans still waiting for him to kick it into gear, and that'll get him going at least tonight with a 1-out base hit through the left side.
Well, that's one thing he's done, trying to make adjustments, and you have to in the big leagues, but he's been more aggressive on the first pitch. He was a guy, a lot of discipline, and he struck out. Well, he continues to strike out quite a bit, but right there gets a good fastball, drives it.
Yeah, that's why I think that's a mistake by Fister. You said it. He loves to jump on the first pitch. That's too good of a pitch to throw for a guy who is an aggressive first ball hitter. Upton hitting .341 on first pitches and .177 after that. And let me tell you, you think about that's good. This guy right here, you know he's swinging as soon as he leaves the dugout.
I don't know what impressed you, Harold Reynolds, more, the actual number or the fact that Tom Verducci had the number.
And he didn't look at the note.
No.
Just to let you know at home.
Kind of frustrating. Here's Freeman. He grounds one through the right side. Upton will turn and go, make it to third easily, and there is Freddie Freeman. Tom Verducci, another guy who goes up there ready to swing it with a first pitch base hit to right.
You know, this is why I said you got to talk about 20-7. You say that defies the odds, the Braves against the Nationals. But to me, it's the matchup. A pitching staff that just pounds the zone, and hitters who go up to the plate never conceding a strike.
You know, the other part about that is situational hitting. Did you see how he shot for that hole? That ball's away. That's an outside pitch. That Fister's thinking I'll get him to roll over and hit a double play. So Freddie's thinking I want to hit it through that 4 hole. Got the pitch he wanted.
So now the catcher, who is red hot, and when we talked to the Braves manager Freddie Gonzalez, he talked about the need to keep an eye on Evan Gattis, who's catching in his 4th straight, may get a day off tomorrow. Big-bodied catcher, and got a 19-game hitting streak alive, and he's hit with power during that streak as he takes ball 1. There are the numbers. 388 during the 19-game streak, but 8 home runs, 21 RBIs, The hitting streak is the longest in franchise history by a catcher. That's a little flare that's going to stay on the infield. 2 out. And with 2 on, 2 out, runners at the corners and a big out picked up by Doug Fister. The Lincoln Motor Company keys to the game.
Well, again, for me, it's that Freeman-Gaddis combination. They've been red hot, and they've been red hot against the Nationals. And for Washington, they've had a tough time hitting with runners in scoring position. 0 for 14 the last couple of nights. 3rd worst overall this season in that category. They need to get those key hits.
Well, this inning falls right into the lap of Jason Hayward, who started this season as the leadoff hitter. Braves kind of took off when he took over that top spot last year. He takes a strike, and so they left him there, but he doesn't have the look and really the approach of your typical leadoff hitter. He looks better in the number 5 spot, which is where Freddie Gonzalez would rather have him hit. He's in this spot now. Last night had a key 2-run double in the 5th inning. That's outside, ball 1.
Yeah, well, he's a middle order guy. We still forget this guy's 24 years old. You know, we've forgotten about Jason Hayward because we've had an influx of Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, all these guys. He's only 24. Still pretty young talent figuring it out.
A little off balance and out in front of that pitch now in the hole 1-2.
See how far outside they're living? I was talking to Jason during batting practice. I said, when did you move so far off the plate where everything is going to be away from you like that? And he said, well, I am 6'5". You know, I said, okay, all right, never mind. But he stands so far, but he feels like he can cover everything. I mean, look how far away he is, and they're going to pound that outside.
And Fister's a guy who can hit that spot. This one is fouled at the plate to keep it 1-2.
He's really a very unusual kind of hitter. I don't think there's any one way you can pitch him. If you watch Jason during the bat, as the pitch is coming in, he actually regrips the bat. I've never seen anybody hit like that. In other words, he'll hold the bat in his batting stance. As the pitcher starts to throw, he will regrip to a different grip. Everything about what he does offensively is very unusual.
Hard hit. Nice play. Espinosa gets the out to end the inning. Matt Williams saying we have to play better defense the rest of the season, and Espinosa took a hit, an RBI away, turned it into the inning-ending force out at second. Now it's Julio Teheran going to the mound for the Braves after a half in D.C. No score. For the Nationals, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Denard Span leads it off in center. Anthony Rendon bats second and third. Then it's Jason Worth, Adam LaRoche, Ryan Zimmerman now the left fielder. For how long? Ian Desmond at short. Danny Espinosa just made a good play to end the top of this inning. Jose Lobaton is batting in the number 8 spot, then Doug Fister, and here is Julio Teheran. He is good. He is young. He's 23. He's from Colombia. And I guess right now he has to be considered the best on this Atlanta Braves starting staff.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a guy who has some similarities with Fister. That sinker is really the go-to pitch for him. He added that last year. And another strike thrower, likes to pound the zone.
Here's Denard Span, who is hitting .271 overall. On base percentage, which is a stat you look at for a leadoff guy at .316, down in his second year here with the Washington Nationals. They're not seeing yet what we saw out of Span in Minnesota. He takes a strike.
Yeah, it's starting to come on now a little bit. He's had a nice stretch the last couple of weeks. And if you look at a lot of batting averages, guys are really starting. They got a lot of work to do to dig out, but they're starting to swing the bats pretty good in baseball right now around the league.
That is outside. Ball and a strike.
You know, it's interesting looking at Johnson, the third baseman, how he's in, and Simmons up the middle. Most third basemen, when they're in, they're over a little bit to his left. But because Andrelton Simmons can go so far and be able to throw a guy out in the hole, it allows the third baseman to play down the line a little bit more.
Trying to take the bunt away as Span gets under it, flies it into center. Easy for one of the Upton brothers. That's BJ, one out. So a quiet start for Denard Span, and here comes Rendon, who is really developing fast at the big league level. He's got some pop. He's got 11 home runs, and he's played a very good defensive third base, which brings up the question, what happens with Ryan Zimmerman out in left now when Bryce Harper comes back in the next week or so?
That's a great question. I'm not sure Matt Williams knows that answer for certain.
Here's a line drive into the gap in left center field. That's going to be played by the left fielder Upton, and Justin gets it back in to hold Rendon to a one-out single.
Tell you what, there's two things. One, we know Rendon's going to play. I mean, he's going to continue to swing the bat like that. I like the play right there. One of the reasons Atlanta's been so good is their outfielders keep the double play in order. They really do cut a lot of balls off and give their pitching staff a chance to get out of things.
I'm with you on Rendon. He has to play. He's played superlative at third base. Matt Williams not afraid to have him go back and forth between third base and second base. He said Ryan Zimmerman, yeah, he'll play left field, he'll play first base, he'll play third base. And Joe, I get the impression that Ryan Zimmerman is much happier now about playing left field than he is third base.
Do you get that impression as Jason Worth digs in because he's heaping praise on the play of Anthony Rendon? Here's a fly ball right side, foul ball, long run Freeman, and what a play! And he throws to second to keep Rendon at the bag, and even the fans here at Nationals Park appreciate that effort. That was brilliant.
Well, you talk about a great catch, and the thing about it is the wind's blowing a little bit, but he just ran that down like a wide receiver.
That was amazing.
Joe, in your other part-time job, you'd have thought that was a heck of a catch, right?
Absolutely.
No
Watch him. He's got his eyes on the ball the whole time. He can feel the track underneath him, but the way he goes into the slide right before the wall, a great sense of where he was without having to look for the wall.
Well, so there you go. There's out number 2. And here is Adam LaRoche, who is hitting .300 as the 4th best on base percentage across all of Major League Baseball. And he will be spelled at times by Zimmerman playing first as he goes after the first pitch, flies it into left. That's Justin Upton, and that is a scoreless first inning at Nationals Park. We go to the second. Good pitching matchup. Fister, Teheran, Braves and Nationals. No score after 1. Well, sometimes you've got to live Moss. Beautiful stadium. They've been playing baseball here since 2008. Here in the second inning for Atlanta, it'll be Justin Upton, Chris Johnson, Andrelton Simmons against Doug Fister. He was picked up from the Tigers for Steve Lombardozzi. Left-handed pitcher Ian Kroll and Robbie Ray. First pitch swinging. Fair ball. Long throw. Rendon got it. One away.
Boys are hacking. The boys are hacking. That's why Rendon can play third and he can play second. Look at how deep he is, one. And watch how simple he gets in front of it. But look at the arm. The arm strength was what you questioned when he came out of Rice. But he has the arm strength clearly throwing that ball all the way across the diamond through the first baseman. The one surprise to me, Joe, about him is he's hitting the way he is. I didn't expect that.
I think it surprised Matt Williams a little bit just because of the way his face lit up when we asked him about Rendon in a good way. Here's a strike to Chris Johnson.
I think the surprise is when you look at Rendon, not that big of a guy. But he's got tremendous pop and certainly showed that last night with an absolute bullet off of Craig Kimbrell.
The guy on the right, Matt Williams, knew how to play third base and hit home runs. Here's a line drive into center that will carry for the out as Denard Span comes in and grabs it. Hard hit by Chris Johnson, 2 out.
Tell you what, you throw strikes and the hitters are aggressive. He's going to be around the plate, and that's their game plan. I don't think they're going to wait around, Tom, for that pitch count to run up.
No, and you can see that how the defense loves playing behind Fister. Always on your toes with this guy.
Here's Simmons. Andrelton walks into the Sade song "Smooth Operator," which is exactly what he is. There's nobody better defensively at shortstop. Was the Platinum Glove Award winner for the best defensive player in the National League, on top of his Gold Glove Award. And he's a young guy that the Braves decided to lock into a long-term deal, and that seems like a very wise investment as the count goes to a ball and a strike.
Do you actually get a Platinum Glove Award? I know the Gold Glove winners get a Gold Glove Award.
Right.
You actually get a Platinum one?
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
One. That is cool.
They didn't have that when you were playing, did they?
No, man, we barely had gold.
Gold plated.
No, the cool thing about it is they take your original glove that you use and they spray paint it gold. And so it's the glove that's the model that you actually use, which is pretty cool.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. He checks on his counterpart. That's Desmond, and that's the end of the inning. Go up there swinging. They're throwing strikes. We're moving right along. There's the kiss of death after 1.5, no score. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company. This is where a new conversation begins. Beautiful shot of our nation's capital on a cool evening on June 21st, 2014. We remind you, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit MLB.com for details. Here is Zimmerman. We got into the conversation last inning about Ryan and his future. Locked into a long-term deal here with the Nationals. He was signed to that deal because of what he does with a bat in his hands. He can hit. Missed time on the disabled list. And now he's found himself in left field to try and protect what is damage in that right throwing shoulder.
You know, and what a shame, too, Joe, because he could play some defense. He was a pretty good defender at third base. And the throw was just ugly to watch. I mean, the inconsistency, but the injury definitely set him back. Sorry, finish your story there.
Well, I was just going to say, broke his right thumb. He only played in 27 games as he hits one foul third base side. But Tom, we were talking about it. If you want to read through the quotes, he's heaping praise on Rendon for the job he's doing at third, and he's throwing on top of that. I really like playing left field. It seems to have been a relief for him to get away from third.
Yeah, he did actually admit that to me, that there is relief. Just a lot of pressure off him. He called the last couple of years agonizing when it comes to the third base because of that shoulder issue that he had. There's no doubt in my mind, Joe, he's more comfortable in the outfield. But Matt Williams has talked about putting him back at third base when Bryce Harper comes off the DL.
2-2.
I think eventually one of the reasons they contemplated with LaRoche so much this offseason that they thought about Zimmerman going to first. I believe eventually he will end up, because the contract is the length it is, he'll end up being first base. But right now, you're right. They got a serious, controversy going on when Bryce Harper comes back. And I think it is a controversy because he's going to have to play somewhere. Span's starting to play better. Rendon, we watch Espinosa, and then Zimmerman, those five guys.
2-2 still.
Well, Matt Williams called it, you called it a controversy. I tend to agree with you, but Matt Williams is the manager. He called that a good problem. He called it a carousel because he talked about rotating guys in and out. Now, listen, that's a good thing because Jason Worth, especially Adam LaRoche, they've played a lot so far, so they could stand to use an occasional day off. That's an occasional day off. I think similar to what Don Mattingly does with his 4 outfielders in L.A., Matt Williams now will have to do here.
A strikeout starts the inning, one away. Ken Rosenthal is with us. And Kenny, it seems like after initially saying clearly Zimmerman would go back to third base, manager Matt Williams has come off that a little bit.
He has, and they've adjusted the plan. And guys, to me here, the pressure point is center field. Denard Span, as we mentioned, his on base is down. His defense is not what it was in Minnesota. And Bryce Harper's preferred position is center field. Now, obviously, this is not an easy thing to navigate, as you guys have alluded to, but that could be a spot where you start to see some movement. Maybe Span gets traded, maybe he doesn't play as often, but that is one area where I can definitely see an adjustment because we've seen already tonight, guys, Rendon at third, Espinosa at second. These are superior defenders.
After a strikeout, Ian Desmond took strike one. Defensively, the Nationals, as Desmond couldn't hold up strike two, have 52 errors. They're second to last in fielding percentage in the National League. And something that when you asked Matt Williams what needs to get better for the second half, he talked about playing better defense. And so do you weaken yourself to force another bat into the lineup? Makes a lot of sense to move the pieces more in the outfield than it does on the infield. Here's an 0-2.
Yeah, and I think some of that has to do with, as we see Desmond go down with the swing, has to do, in my mind, as a former infielder, on the East Coast in April, the weather was terrible. So just like hitting, you have to get into a rhythm. In the hitting, you can go in the batting cage. If you're playing in the Major League Baseball and playing defense, there's a tarp on the field every day. You don't take ground balls. You just go out and play. And I think guys did not get into a very good rhythm at all. And we've seen the change, not just with the Nationals, but in baseball, across the league. how guys have picked up defensively from really when the weather started to break in May.
2 out, nobody on as Danny Espinosa will stand in against Julio Teheran, and both right-handers appear to be on here tonight. Ball 1. Teheran had a 4-game winning streak snapped 2 starts ago at Colorado. Had a rough 8-2 loss, but he's coming off a no decision. When he went 8, allowed a run on 4 hits against Cole Hamels and the Phillies on Monday. Braves were swept by Philadelphia. Here's a shot into right, hard hit, but right at Hayward. And a perfect second keeps us scoreless through 2. Back to Washington after a word from your local Fox station. For the Braves, he'll lead it off in the 3rd. Both right-handers brought their good stuff to the park tonight. So did Kevin Franzen, and we may see that before the end of the night. Strike 1 to the pitcher. When the pitcher's up, you introduce the interview guest from the dugout. Kevin Franzen is down at the end of the dugout for the Nationals. Hi, Kevin.
How you guys doing?
We're doing well. How tired are you of hearing about the dominance of the Braves over the Washington Nationals?
I mean, it is what it is. They've beaten us. I mean, it's a fact. Am I tired of it? Yeah, because I don't like losing. I don't think any of us like losing. But at the same time, great play by Rocchi.
And easy to the bag for Pfister. 1 out.
You know, it's one of those things. It's 2 very, very talented ball clubs, and one team's coming out on top a little bit more than the other. And, you know, hopefully tonight's the night that we change it. And we got a great guy on the mound right now in Dougie. So.
Hey, Kevin, we were just talking about Ryan Zimmerman, and Bryce Harper comes back, his ability to play different positions. I asked Ryan about all the different gloves he has, and he actually said you've helped him out with the leather. Explain that one.
Well, I have a few gloves. I have a second base glove, a third base glove, an outfield glove, a first base glove, and now I have a catcher's glove as the emergency roll. You know, I think Ryan's been used to one glove for many years, and the way he's adjusted to this outfield glove has made it. I mean, it's amazing. All of us are in awe, I feel like, because of how hard he's worked to be a good outfielder, and you know, we're excited for Bryce to come back, and it's going to be great because it's another athlete, another great player, and you know, you can't have too many of those guys on your team, can you?
You can't, as the leadoff hitter Tommy LaStella, who hit a one-hop shot back to Pfister to start the day, fouls away in the hole 1 and 2.
Hey, Kevin, I want to ask you, not being facetious or anything, explain to our audience the different gloves that you use. Why, and what the size are, different things like that.
Well, let's see. I use a 11 1/4 for second base, shallower pocket, just for the turns and all that stuff. You know, at second base, third base is a deeper, bigger glove, just for the fact that it's all reaction over there. And then in the outfield, obviously, it's a huge glove, one of those enormous things. That's the toughest one for me because of the transfer. Trying to come in on a ground ball and get it in, and you're trying to find the ball. You're like, wow, that's really, I can't find it.
Now let me ask you about the arm angles when you throw from each position, and that affects Ryan as well with this question.
Here's a little pop up into center off the bat of La Stella. Easy for Span, 2 out.
The arm angles, the main thing is for me, throw as much as I can from third. That's one that's very useful because you're going to be over the top a lot more. Second base is just a nice little easy flip, but the outfield has made everything better for me because I've been able to get longer. You're throwing a lot more. You're making it stronger, straighter throw. You have all different angles. That's the one thing you have to make sure you don't get too drastic in them. There's some guys that are able to do that. I'm not one of them. It's kind of fun, actually.
Well, I'm still trying to process you saying you're the emergency catcher.
You shouldn't really process it. It's actually a fact.
Well, tell me, what kind of prep do you do? I mean, is it like third string quarterback in the NFL? You carry the clipboard, or do you actually warm up some pitchers?
No, I've caught bullpens. I mean, I started this back in 2007 with the Giants. I was the emergency catcher, and it's actually fun. It's a new perspective. It's a different perspective. If you've never caught, you go back there, you see it, and it's like, oh, okay. You get to see the movement of pitches. It's a great way to, without hitting.
Have you done that in a game anywhere? High school, little league, college?
I mean, I've done it everywhere, minus pro ball. I used to be a uber prospect with the Giants, so they never let me do that in a game in the minor league. So.
Where'd you get the glove? You didn't mention that. You steal that thing?
No. Marucci sent me one. Marucci bats, now coming out with great gloves, and now that's what I use all around the infield and outfield.
Little pop for Marucci.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I don't like doing that, but it's a fact. They have made some just unbelievable stuff.
Here's one down and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm guessing, and I'm starting to get the idea that you're just spewing facts down there from the corner of the dugout.
I try to.
You're a fact man.
A fact man. Yep.
Any tension in that clubhouse with you're a half game out. It can't be too tension filled, but it felt like it was a little quiet when we walked in there before tonight's game.
Well, I mean, last night was a long game. Most of us got out here pretty late, and Matty gave us a little bit of extra chance to regroup today as far as no BP and all that stuff. So yeah, you have those days where it's going to be a lot quieter than most, not based off the fact that we're tense. It's just a cool down. Like, you have that cool down period.
Right. That's a great beard.
Thank you. It is just a beard. There is no meaning behind it. Just a beard.
Wow. So there's no that's strike 3. How about that? We'll go comb that thing, and we'll maybe see you later in tonight's game.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Kevin Franzen from the corner of the dugout, bottom of the 3rd inning in D.C. That's coming up. No score. Magazine and Target are recognizing teachers in your community. Vote for the teacher who will represent your team at the 2014 All-Star Game July 15th. Minneapolis on Fox. Log on to allstarteachers.com and vote today. Jose Lobaton is the first up. Nationals are excited to get Wilson Ramos, their young catcher. He's 26 years old. The guy's been 5 times on the disabled list, twice already this season. He is due back on Thursday, coming back from another hamstring strain. On the DL twice last year with that. And if he could stay healthy, he would be a big weapon for this team offensively and defensively as the count evens at a ball and a strike.
And particularly in the National League, you stretch your lineup so much, you know, where you have pinch hitters. And
here's a line drive, base hit into right. Second hit of the night for the Nationals against Tehran. And here's Kevin Burkhardt in the studio with a game break. And so with that, it appears Boston will stay 7.5 out. The AL East is tightened up. And Oakland trying to add to what was a 6-game lead in the AL West to start the day. Best record in the game. Here's Pfister, shows bunt, takes a ball.
Tell you what, they got it going on out there in Oakland big time. Had a little bit of a skid, but they picked it back up. Hey, I'm watching Pfister bunting here. And for you youngsters, look how far up in the box he's standing. So that when you bunt the ball, when he puts it down, anything is going to be fair. You don't want to get your good bunt and it ends up being foul. See how far he's moved up in the box.
2-0.
Doug Pfister is a real good athlete. Been in the American League. Not a lot of experience bunting.
See where he brings that bat out in front? It's already in front of the plate. So if he's able to touch that ball, it's going to be fair. You always want to put yourself in a position. If you stand further back, you might get a good bunt and it ends up going foul. So that's one way it can help you get that bunt down.
Caught the corner, 2-1.
That's why I like the National League, believe it or not. The cat and mouse. You know, look at where Tehran's throwing him on the outside half. He's forcing him to have to bunt the ball to third baseman who's charging in. You know, he can pull it back and swing if he wants to. It's just different. It just uses everybody in the game.
Tom, I remember when Tony La Russa came to the National League and the Cardinals back in '96, and he and his staff, all those guys came from Oakland. And the early returns and in spring training was, well, why does anybody want to see the pitcher hit? The DH is more fun. You get to see big guys swing the bat. Here's a bunt right side. And that'll do the trick. Down to second is Lobaton, 1 out. And I promise you within about a week, that staff to a man preferred watching National League Baseball and managing National League Baseball more than what they did in the AL.
No doubt. Now, if you see right there, he's already in front of the plate. And he sets your angle and just let the ball handle the bat. This is a lost art, believe it or not. But see, already he's in fair territory. As soon as he touches it, you deaden the ball by hitting it right down into the dirt. Deadens it right there. It's going to stay fair. A lot of guys stay behind the plate. It hits the plate, pops up too high, goes foul.
So it gets Lobaton down to second with 1 out, and back to the top for Denard Span, who flies one down the left field line into the seat, strike 1.
So how long did it take La Russa and those guys?
I mean, literally a week. And once the season started, you know, these are guys that had big wins and championships because of what DHs did over the years, both in the White Sox and in Oakland, and they just said this is just a better brand of baseball.
I think anybody who's managed in both leagues, I remember Sparky Anderson saying the same thing. It really is just a better brand of baseball, and there's just more thinking that a manager has to do through the course of a game.
Well, I love the DH, but I will admit this. It makes it's a 25-man roster comes into effect. You know, I watched the Toronto Blue Jays, will go back to when they won the championship. It was right the same 9 every night, and they blew everybody away, and the bench guys barely play. In the National League, you win with your bench. And that's what's an interesting situation with Atlanta with Dan Uggla, because you're really essentially playing with 24 players and not 25 if he doesn't get involved with your game. And it's a handicap. and it's something they're going to have to deal with along the way.
Kenny Rosenthal is jumping out of his suit down there at the corner of the dugout, wanting to get in on this. Runner at second, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch to Span. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. What do you think, Kenny?
Joe, I love the strategy, too, with the pitchers hitting, but I am in favor of DH for both leagues, and here's why. One, we have interleague play year-round. There's a distinct advantage for the American League teams when they're at home. 2, we've seen pitchers get hurt time and again hitting. There's no need for that, especially with guys making as much money as they are. And really, with the lack of offense in the game today, there may need to be some thought given to ways to boost that offense, and the DH in both leagues would do that.
1 ball, 1 strike on Span.
Interesting perspective. I get it. I played my whole career with the DH, so it's kind of weird to me. I mean, it's in high school, it's in Little League, it's hopefully not in Little League, but it is in high school and it's in colleges. So I get Ken's perspective.
Here's a 1-1. Span takes up and away, 2-1.
I get it too, but I can't sign on for that. I mean, the game was invented to have you play offense and defense. To turn into a game, it's already hyper specialized. The DH, I like actually the tension between the two leagues. We play by 2 different sets of rules. There's still a place for that guy late in his career to keep playing as a DH. But I like to see the all-around game, offense and defense. I like to see the pitchers learn how to bat and help themselves.
Well, we know it's not going anywhere. I mean, the DH is, with the strength of the Players Association, it's not going anywhere. Those are high-paying jobs.
You're absolutely right, Joe.
2 balls and a strike on Span with a runner at second and 1 out. And Denard hops out of there.
And when Ken brought that up, somebody was jumping up and down going, all right, I'm going to extend my career. Both leagues? Tremendous. But I like what you're saying, Tom. I really do. I like the originality of the 2 leagues. The American League with the DH, the National League with the pitcher hitting.
Span trying to put the Nationals on top here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Little floater down the left field line is foul. It's 2-2. So you get to see the DH tonight. MLB doubleheader continues over on Fox Sports 1 as the Rangers take on the Angels and the great Mike Trout. Our MLB doubleheader continues at 10 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com right now. And there are the numbers and where he ranks on a heavy hitting team. Power laden lineup. They got Hamilton back, and Freddie Gonzalez got up close and personal and saw just how good that kid is.
That was cool, wasn't it? To listen to Freddie Gonzalez talk about that, and another advantage of interleague play. National League manager gets to see American League star and came away raving about him. That's nothing new. We all see Mike on TV and we know he's the best player in the game. I thought it was interesting that Freddie Gonzalez said putting his own eyes on the player, seeing him up close, everything that he does so well, the speed in which he runs the bases, that swing is so quick and powerful. It was really cool to hear Freddie Gonzalez talk about seeing the guy in person.
Crowd tries to liven it up. Been a long at bat, this battle, and Span's going to make it longer. Denard has driven in 16. Tehran is making Span wait at the plate. High fly ball into right. Hayward is there. Tagging is Lobaton. Hayward hangs on to the ball for a moment, almost daring Lobaton to run, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, he baited him a little bit. You know, it's interesting when a catcher gets to second base. That's why it took so long, that at bat, is that they're worried about the signs, him picking them up, he being able to figure out what sequence are they using. If anybody's going to be able to decode your signs, it's going to be a catcher. And that's why the game slows down a lot when you get a catcher at second base. Paranoia, Joe. They're paranoid of the signs.
Nothing wrong with being paranoid in this world. It's a good way to go through life, Harold. Hayward can throw. He is tied for the most outfield assists in the National League with 6, and he was hoping Lobaton was going to get frisky out there at second base.
That was cool. I like that.
1 ball, no strikes on Rendon.
Yasiel Puig would have done that. We'd be, oh, what's he doing? Get the ball back in the end.
Good point.
Be a nice battle between those two for the Gold Glove this year at right field, National League.
Here's a 1-0. 2-0 on Rendon, who singled his first time up.
This is a real interesting at bat here, especially now behind 2-0. Rendon, to me, is swinging the hottest bat on the team. You've got Jason Worth on deck, who has not been hot. Base open. I think you have to be really careful behind the Rendon right here.
Come at him on 2-0. He does. Base hit into center. Lobaton chugging home. Throw home by Upton is not in time. 1-0 Nationals. On a base hit by Anthony Rendon.
Well, 2-0 challenge fastball just right over the middle of the plate. Lobaton got a great jump on that. It's a strong throw by Upton and a great read by Rendon to continue on to second base.
I'll tell you what, guys, with the new catcher rule, this is why he's safe. You know, when you used to be able to block the plate, look, you got to give the guy the plate now, and I understand that. But it takes you've taken away a lot of throws from the outfielders now because you have to throw it up the line knowing where the catcher's going to be instead of throwing it towards the base path and over the plate. And that's the difference I see a lot in a lot of games night in, night out.
Rendon took second on the throw home. He's out there with 2 out for Worth. Strike 1. All this talk about National League Baseball. It was Pfister who got Lobaton down to second, and he eventually scores on the 2-out hit by Rendon because of that good bunt.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Rendon came around to second base on that. That was a low throw by Upton, and that's a great read. You know, often we see that get cut off, and that's what you want to do. You force that guy to make a decision, the guy being Freddie Freeman, the first baseman. If you're going to cut it off and go to second and give us a free run or make it possibly bang bang. I like the read on that.
Sometimes the walk is not a bad play, guys. And Teheran right now is just an incredible streak. He hasn't walked anybody in more than 80 plate appearances. There you go. 84 batters faced. Hasn't walked anybody. 2-0. I'm not giving Rendon a strike down the middle.
You're right. Get caught up in throwing too many strikes sometimes, and that's the game within the game.
Got the outside corner, strike 2.
Plus the other thing, if he nibbles on Rendon, now you got a first and second situation, and with the range of Simmons, I'll take my chances putting him deep in left field, maybe get a force somewhere on the diamond with Worth up. You know what I mean? If that was the situation.
Instead, it was a base hit by Rendon. The inning ends on a strikeout by Worth, but it's Anthony Rendon, 2 for 2, and he has the game's only RBI. 4th inning will roll in. Who's coming up? Freddie Freeman. He'll lead it off for the Braves, who trail by 1. Tonight's game on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Designate a driver and enjoy the great times. And by T-Mobile, helping to bring you baseball night in America. Here is our Lowe's Never Stop Improving pitcher profile for Doug Fister. Talked about the no walks from Tehran. Fister is a guy where you can count on a lot of strikes from number 58.
You wouldn't think that, right? 6'8", really lanky, but as we said, really good athlete, repeats his delivery so well.
Freeman, then Gaddis, then Hayward. Freddie singled his first time, and then good pitching by Fister got him out of trouble as Gaddis popped up. Hayward robbed of a hit by Espinoza. That's a strike. 1-1.
You know what I find interesting is you see Ian Desmond right in the middle, and you got the center fielder right behind him, just off him. And they're right in Freddie Freeman's sight line as a hitter. And how often do you remember the best picture I can give you is Wade Boggs come to the plate and he tapped top of his helmet, telling the umpire to move out of the way. I'm wondering if someday we're going to come to a point where a hitter says, okay, you can shift on me, but you got to move out of my sight line.
That bounces in there. 2-2.
You saying that a hitter can tell the defense where to move?
No, but I would argue that. Look, I can't see. I'm coming right out of his white shirt. I would argue danger or whatever else. I can't pick up the ball. If that was an umpire, they'd tell him to move out of the way. I'm just saying.
That's inside, a full count.
I don't think there's any chance of it happening, but it's a good point because you do see a lot where hitters will ask the umpire to move.
Yeah.
My question for you is, do we get to a point where there's such thing as an illegal defense in baseball?
That could be.
3-2 pitch. Freeman strikes out, and that's the second of the night for Doug Fister. Clearly he couldn't see.
Nope.
One away here in the top of the fourth inning.
Yeah, really clean mechanics on Doug Fister. He's got a really long arm swing, long levers. He uses them really well. Now he's pretty straight up and tall. His release point right here. And he's 6'8" and stays tall. That allows him to have a real downward angle.
That is ripped down the line, foul off the bat of Evan Gaddis.
Yeah, the deception with Fister, though, as a right-handed hitter, he steps right at you and throws across his body. That's what would be nerve-wracking if you had to face him from the right side.
It's funny because both pitchers today, Tehran does pretty much the same thing.
Ouch.
That got Gaddis, and that'll send him to first with one out. Third hit batsman of the year for Doug Fister. 1 on, 1 out with Hayward coming up.
Well, he likes to keep those hands over the plate, but that's just a two-seamer that runs in on him, hits on the back arm. He didn't feel anything. That's like a mosquito for Evan Gaddis.
Here's Hayward. Jason hit a rocket up the middle at Espinoza. Stopped with a sliding play to his right. There's a strike. That robbed Jason of an RBI. He's driven in 29. He is hitting .260. Off the hands, jammed him a bit. Strike 2.
Tom, I'm looking at him working those batting gloves. I can't help but think about what you were talking about before with his two different hand positions.
I've never seen anybody do it. And sometimes he gets in trouble because when he goes to that second grip, it's really too much of an overhand grip, a really strong grip, and sometimes he goes too far and kind of locks his wrists.
Oh, when
just sticks the bat out and almost guided it fair down the line.
I would say that's more of a normal grip to start out with. And as the pitcher starts to get, you see that turnover. Now it's deeper in the hand. The finger's more wrapped around the bat.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
He starts off in his fingers, and then he'll wrap it at the top hand. I saw that.
Just got a piece. See that extra flap in the batting helmet? A guy who broke his jaw last year. Jason Hayward earlier in the year had emergency appendectomy surgery. Last time he was healthy for a full year, he hit 28 home runs. One on, one out after a hit batsman, and that's ball 1. We flash back to August 21st last year and a broken jaw on the pitch from John Neese.
Takes a lot of courage to get back in there too, and he's done a nice job at standing there on left-hand pitchers. My goodness.
2-2 from Pfister. Guy who came up with Seattle in 2009. Was 3-12 in 2011. Traded to the Tigers and took off. Went 8-1 down the stretch. That's popped up. Center of the diamond, and it's the shortstop Desmond for out number 2.
And Joe, he's the poster child for Jeff Samardzija. You know, a lot of people are thinking, hey, look at what Pfister was doing in Seattle. Get him with the right team. You got a big-time winning pitcher who's going to take off for you. And I know Jeff Samardzija has been a big conversation and wondering what direction might he go and what would the Cubs do. I know they extended an offer to him this week. I was going to say this year. But that's the combination you're looking for. That guy that may take off.
1 on, 2 out. Justin Upton takes ball 1.
Yeah, I think having Doug Pfister here with Washington in the National League has been predictably a great fit. Much better defensive team here than he had behind him in Detroit for a guy who throws ground balls. That's important.
Jams Upton, and that force out ends 4 dominant innings from Doug Pfister, who's only been challenged in the first. Nationals coming up, bottom of the 4th inning on a cool evening, up 1-0. Time for Pepsi's Real Big Things You Need to Know. Real Big Things brought to you by Pepsi. Make it a real big summer with 3 new flavors of Pepsi made with real sugar. He's in his mid-30s in the pitches. So for Tehran, he is getting into the area as his pitch count has gone up. The batting average against has gone down for a guy who started this night ranked 3rd in the National League with an ERA of 2.31. He trails 1-0. Bottom of the 4th inning, and here's LaRoche with a base hit into right to start this 4th. Gerald Laird warmed him up. He's one of the 2 catchers on the roster for the Atlanta Braves, and he joins us from down in the dugout. Hi, Gerald.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How this guy, if people around the country don't know about him, Julio Teheran, who's only 23 years old. You got something special with this right-hander.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you've seen last year, he came in and had a rough start to the season. This got better and better as the starts went down to the end of the year, and he's picked up where he's left off last year.
Leadoff base hit. The batter is Zimmerman. And he takes a strike. You guys have had some fun the last 2 years since you got to Atlanta at the expense of the Washington Nationals. Do you have any explanation why? I mean, other than outscoring them, I dig a little deeper.
Not really. I mean, I just think we don't come into the game and into the series, too hype. I mean, a lot of people put a lot of pressure on this series. I mean, it's probably the two best teams in our division, but we just come and play one game at a time. We know they're a good ball club, and we try to not do anything out of the ordinary. We just play our game and pitch and play defense, and hopefully get some timely hitting.
Hey, Gerald, it's Harold here. I got to ask you about all these backswings. We keep seeing catchers getting hit, and you and I talked about that before. Can you kind of take our audience into why you might think guys are getting hit, including yourself a couple times?
I just think it's some of these guys are taking a little bit more aggressive hacks nowadays. You see a lot, like you said, you see a lot more one-handed swings. And then it depends on some of the pitches that we call. I mean, some of these guys have some good 12-6 curveballs. And
here's a line drive into left. Back near the track is Justin Upton, 1 on, 1 out.
Obviously the new cutters that come in the game and those back foot sliders where we as catchers got to creep up in there to try to get a good, give the umpire a good chance to make a good call if he makes his pitch down and in. And sometimes they swing and miss, and we get caught up too close to the hitter, and they hit us. It's nothing that we think it's happening on purpose, just the way the game's turning nowadays.
Hey, Gerald, it also seems to be dangerous to be a Braves pitcher. Gavin Floyd, who threw the ball great the other night, unfortunately, he breaks his elbow. That follows on the heels of surgeries to Chris Medlin, Brandon Beachy. How have you guys been able to weather with a kind of next man up mentality here, the injuries to the starting pitchers?
Some of these young guys coming up, obviously got Woody back in AAA getting ready to come back, I'm sure. But, I just think guys have stepped up. I mean, when Medlin went down, our organization showed us that, they know we have a chance to win now and to go get Irving and to show, the team, look at it, we want to compete, and they went and got him and helped our staff. And then losing Gavin, that was kind of sad. We all felt for him because, the outing he was having here, the way he was throwing the ball, it looked like he was back when he was younger. He was touching 95 with his cutter at 91, and his curveball was devastating that night. And to see that happen was definitely, you feel better for the guy. But, this organization does a good job down low of getting their pitchers ready to come up and compete at this level.
0-2 is the count. Desmond looks at a ball in the dirt, and well played by Evan Gattis. How's Evan holding up with all this work he's had behind the plate? Now that McCann's gone, and we saw him a lot in left field, but you guys need his bat in the lineup. How's he doing physically?
He's doing great. I ask him every day how he's feeling. Let me know when you need a day. It's his job. That's why I'm here. But he obviously knows what he means to this team, and he tells me, he'll give me a day in advance like he's feeling tired and to be ready to go. And like I said, that's my job. When he had that little illness for 5 days, I had to go and do my job and play while he was out and give him a break. And he understands that. But this kid puts in the time in the video room, more on his defense than his offense, because his offense speaks for itself. But this kid wants to be a really great catcher.
It's impressive for a guy that, I don't know, whatever weight you want to give to him, 250 plus pounds, let's say that. He moves around well back there.
Oh, yeah, he's athletic. He's more athletic than people think. He's one of those guys that you get him on a football field, basketball court, he's going to play other sports well. He's an athletic guy back there, and for his size, he moves really well.
Now, Gerald, I know you like to play. I know you're probably saying to him a few times, you're feeling a little tired, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I like to get back to that one. When he was sick, I think I went 5 days in a row, and I was like, ooh, I remember these days. But he laughs. He goes, you good? I said, I'm good to go. I'm here to play. I like to play. But obviously know my role, and that's to come in when you need a day and just do what I can do.
Listed at 260 pounds. I do want to see him on the basketball court.
Runner goes
power forwards.
As a foul comes back and out of play, and we'll do another 2-2 pitch to Ian Desmond. You caught the guy who's on the mound facing your team tonight, Doug Fister, while with Detroit. He's a great guy and is fun from a distance to watch pitch. What's he like to catch?
Oh, he's just as fun to catch. I told the guys, he's a gamer. He comes at you with 4 quality pitches. He's not afraid to use his fastball at 88 to 91 with sink. And he's not going to walk guys. He's going to make guys swing it and put the ball in play. And as you're seeing tonight, he's making good pitches early in the count. I just told the guys be patient with him. You know, I mean, he's a tough competitor out there, but be patient and look for something up in the zone.
I think it would be so interesting playing with you because you've caught basically everybody in the league.
Yeah.
do you run the hitting meetings or what?
No, a lot of the American League teams we go to, Roger always looks at me and goes, what do you got? What do you got? Especially the Angels we just had last week. I'm like, but there's a lot of new guys in the league. I mean, the league's getting a lot younger, a lot of good, young, talented players, and so I don't know everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest change probably in baseball is everybody out of the bullpen is throwing 95. I mean, when did that change?
We all talk about that all the time in the meeting. It's like, even like the number 4s, and I mean, nothing against the guys back in the day, but I mean, the number 4s and 5s nowadays, the starters are 94 to 96. And all the guys at the back.
Be careful with that. Be careful.
But I just think it's the athletes now coming in are just a little bit bigger and stronger, and you know, all the weight training they do nowadays at a young age. I mean, they're just, I mean, it seems like everything that from the 7th inning on or 6th inning on in the bullpen, you're getting 96, 97 miles an hour.
So let me ask you one thing. I've been watching your defense. You shift on Zimmerman, a few different guys. Who controls that? Is it from the bench, or do you do that from the plate sometimes as well?
Usually from the bench. It's you know, it's obviously coming from all this new scouting reports and percentages, but it comes from the bench. I mean, there's a few times that I'll say something in the meeting. If we're going to pitch a guy a certain way, we want to play it a little bit differently. But for the most part, it comes from the bench and the coaching staff. And
is there still some in-game feel, though? Maybe different with you guys. You can sit there and maybe point a guy one way or different direction.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just like we guys got done with Ryan Howard. I mean, obviously we were playing the shift with him, and he was seeing the ball pretty well against us, and you know, he was trying to shoot that hole to shortstop. And those good hitters, when they're feeling good, they can put the ball anywhere. So we kind of went back to more of a straight-up defense with him, and tried to pitch him, you know, normal.
1 ball, 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 out. Teheran just struck out Ian Desmond, his 4th of the night. Espinosa at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're talking to Gerald Laird, catcher with the Atlanta Braves. He has found postseason success and had a lot of fun. You really have, Gerald. You've been bouncing around, but bouncing around, landing in good spots.
Oh yeah, I've been fortunate. Like, you know, catching on with the St. Louis 2011, that was a great experience. And the following year with Detroit, getting to go back. I mean, that wasn't as good an experience getting swept, but
hey, I mean, you got there.
Exactly. It was 2 back-to-back years of unbelievable excitement, joy, and just it was a fun time.
We saw the play at the plate. It really wasn't close in the 3rd inning. The only run that scored. You're a veteran catcher. What do you think of these new rules for the catchers and no collisions, and does it change the mentality of a guy making a play and a throw to the plate?
Yeah, I was just actually looking at that too, and it's one of those plays where like the throw is right on line, but you can't really kind of take it away. So you got to judge when you can take the plate away nowadays, and it's going to allow guys like that to come in head first. You know, when players used to come in head first, that's an opportunity for us to kind of knock them off and use our shin guards. But there's no more doing that unless you have the ball. But I'm not a big fan of it. I think in a big series like this, if it's going to be a bang bang play, I think you should be able to take the plate away if the throw's coming in.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Espinosa, who's driven in 17. He's hit 6 home runs. And Teheran, who's got a great pickoff move, just flips that over to first with the guy at first. LaRoche going absolutely nowhere.
Hey, Gerald, how long did it take you to adjust to that, given the plate? Or have you adjusted?
I haven't even adjusted. I told Freddie when this happened, I said, I'm going to play at the plate like I've always been taught. And if it's the wrong way, it's going to be you that gets thrown out, not me. Because I'm just going to do it. I mean, your instincts take over. Like in that play, if that's in the 9th inning, I'm trying to take the plate away in a 1-run game in a big series. And if it happens, they go to replay and say, well, you took the plate away too soon, and you know, we're going to roll him the plate, and he's safe. Said Skipper, that's on you.
Do you think that's the mindset of a lot of catchers?
I think so. I think guys are just going to play it normal because there's so much gray area in the rule that just play it normal. And that way you don't do anything wrong and you keep from getting hurt.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Gerald, there's been some talk that this is actually an incremental step towards a complete no contact, no slide or avoid type situation similar to college baseball. Would you be in favor of that, or is this compromise better than that?
No, I wouldn't be in favor of that. I mean, how many times a year do you see a catcher get run over? I mean, knock on wood, it happens. But I think catchers have more of a chance to get hurt with foul tips to the mask than they do plays at the plate.
I saw you actually knock on wood down there. There's plenty. There's bats down there. There's a bench down there. Way to go, Gerald. Thanks for your time, bud.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, let's go to the 5th inning. Braves coming up, down 1-0. MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Visit MLB.com today. First pitch to Chris Johnson, outside ball 1 from Doug Fister, who is protecting a 1-zip lead. That's a strike, 1-1. Bottom 3 in the lineup: Johnson, Simmons, and Tehran. This is not a give-up bottom 3 in the lineup. These guys can hit. Johnson, who really pressed early after finishing 2nd in the batting race last year, hit .321, has been getting better as the months have gone by. Really grinding early. Has his average up to .281 out of the way of ball 2.
Yeah, and he was kind of the throw-in in the deal with Justin Upton coming over from Arizona. I don't think they expected him to hit as well as he has over the year and a half he's been in Atlanta now. So it's a big upgrade at third.
That's in the dirt, a full count.
You didn't know who was going to replace Chipper over there. It's a nice find.
I'm just shocked that it's full count. He's taken as many pitches as he has because you got a premier strike thrower on the mound, and Chris Johnson actually swings the bat more often than anybody in baseball, even more than the Panda, Pablo Sandoval.
3-2 pitch is on the outside corner, and he strikes out looking. So he was up there being patient, looking for the perfect pitch, and instead Fister delivered the perfect pitch. 1 out.
Well, Tom, the one time he should have been aggressive swing, and he decided not to.
Yeah, as Joe said, that's a perfect pitch right there. Probably not much he could have done with that anyway. Right on the black.
Nothing you can do with that.
So 1 out for Andrelton Simmons.
Tell you what, though, I would rather have the swing and miss than have the umpire call me out.
Here's a jam shot, might fall into left. It will, in front of Zimmerman. A 1-out single for Simmons. You go down swinging. I mean, that's what all the greats do. Nobody came to watch Babe Ruth walk. I mean, swing the bat.
movement on that.
Yeah, he got away with a bad breaking ball right there, and you see it's in the middle of the bat. Big swing. Zimmerman in left field. I'm not sure he could have got it anyway, but couldn't get there in time. Got fooled by that big swing.
Yeah, but did you see how far Simmons rounded first? Thinking about it, I mean, that's a thought. Every time that ball goes to Zimmerman, I know the Nationals beg to differ, but players are going to be aggressive. They're going to run on him.
Just going to say this is not a sure bunt. It's a swinging bunt, and out number 2.
Oh, man. Nice.
He got the job done. He advanced the runner, but because Tehran handles the bat as well as he does, they didn't put the bunt sign on. Here's Simmons after that base hit to left.
And this is a bloop to left. Now watch how far he's going to come around. Well, maybe not as far as I thought, but he's still out there a little bit. Come on, I'm talking about you, Simmons. You should have went a little harder and further, make me look better.
You know, you can feel free to bail on that thought that you had about how far Simmons went.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
You done?
Didn't work. Didn't work.
Hey, throw it out there. See what sticks.
It looked good from up here.
A lot of things look good from up here.
The Capitol Dome looks good from up here.
Which city? Here's a pitch up and away for a ball to Tommy La Stella. You can see at least 3 states from our vantage point high above Nationals Park. All lit up, and they're packed in to watch the Nationals and the Braves, the top 2 teams in the National League East, battle here on a Saturday night. We are at the uppermost part. Here's a 2-0. La Stella takes ball 3 with B.J. Upton on deck. And even though La Stella's the rookie, and Pfister doesn't walk a lot of guys the way B.J.'s been swinging it, I know La Stella's tapered off a little bit, but he may just be willing to put him on.
You're right, and this is the difference of the experience between Pfister and Tehran. Remember earlier, Tom, your point, even in the first or second inning when they scored, that you had an opportunity to pitch around to get to Jason Worth, should say, the second time through the lineup.
Yeah, it's a great point. You see Lobaton go out to the mound right here. Let's be absolutely sure of what we want to do. And I think what they talk about here is if we're going to get him out, we're going to get him out on our pitch. We're not going to give in here on a 3-1 count to Tommy La Stella. Good line drive hitter.
But also, more importantly, lefty on righty. And, you know, even though BJ's got a single this game, that's the guy they want to go after. Change up.
And hit to Desmond to end the inning. A 1-out hit by Simmons. He's left on. The Braves have stranded 4. A lot of frustration for the Nationals against the Braves of late. They lead 1-0 halfway through it on a Saturday night in D.C. find new roads. From that road outside Nationals Park, inside, where Washington will come to the plate with Lobaton, who scored the game's only run first up, then Pfister, then Span. 1-0, Nationals on top. Teheran has struck out 5 and starts the inning with a strike. There's Pfister, who dropped down a good bunt in his only plate appearance so far this evening, led to a run. RBI with a 2-out base hit by Rendon. That's strike 2. Braves won on Thursday 3-0 behind Gavin Floyd, then lost him to a broken elbow. Won last night 6-4 and 13. That's strikeout number 6 and 3 in a row. And that's the way the bottom of the 5th inning begins on Tuesday, July 15th. Baseball's best gather in Minnesota as the captain, Derek Jeter, takes the field in his last All-Star game ever in what promises to be an emotional and unforgettable night. Special coverage begins at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the All-Star game at 7:30 on Fox.
I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Fun game to broadcast. So many stories with anybody who steps to the plate, who steps on the mound, who takes over defensively, and that moment for Derek Jeter. Whatever is cooked up, like we had last year at Citi Field with Mariano Rivera. One of the highlights of the sports year. There's a strike to Pfister. He's in the hole 0-2.
So exciting. You think about Jeter's last, and then you also think about the first for guys like Masahiro Tanaka, Jose Abreu, Yasiel Puig. I gotta believe Evan Gattis.
Back-to-back strikeouts, 7 on the night for Teheran. And for the National League, I'll leave it up to you two. You have any issues with any of the names as the leading vote getters to this point?
How about that outfield? Wow.
Yeah. You know, the only thing I don't like is I like to see guys, if you're in that position, you play, you get voted in that position. I know Stanton's not the left fielder, so battle Puig for the spot. You know what I mean? I just like to see if there's a position you play, then you should get picked accordingly. We always go outfielders, put them out there.
They're just in one big pool when you look at the little sheet you get when you walk into a ballpark or go online. There's one right back up the middle, and Denard Span is on base for the first time tonight with a 2-out base hit.
It's a good looking swing. You know, the first time you go through a lineup, you get a feel for what the pitcher does. The next time you go up and you're saying, I'm looking in a spot, if he throws that pitch, I'm going to drive it. And that's how you manage a strike zone. 0-0, he throws the pitch I'm looking for, you take it back up the middle. If it's a ball, you take it. He got his pitch.
Rendon is 2 for 2. A 1-out single in the first, a 2-out single for an RBI into center in the third. And he's up with 2 out here. Takes a ball.
I think you have to think about stealing a bag here if you're Span with 2 outs. You do have to be very careful of Teheran. He has a terrific balk move to first base. The umpires just don't call it, but he'll flinch that lead knee, and the runner thinks he's going home, and he'll twist and go to first base.
And there's one of the better attempts by Teheran we've seen tonight, trying to keep Span, who's stolen 12, been caught only twice, close at first.
Most right-handers, their quickest move is going to be when their hands are moving up and down. Like they're in the stretch, taking them up and coming down. Now they're going to be quick. Once they get set, they're not as quick. That's what was impressive about that move he just had.
Well, Harold, you know, as a base stealer, when that left knee goes up, he should be going home. When that flinches, that should be a move towards home. If he does that before he spins, by definition, that's a balk, but he does it so quick, he can get away with it.
He's quick. He is quick. But you're right about stealing here. You know, if he gets thrown out, you got Rendon leading off the inning.
There's a strike to make it 2-1.
Braves have caught only 2 of 10 base stealers with Teheran on the mound.
I guess he learned his lesson. He didn't throw him a 2-0 fastball this time, did he?
That one danced in at 74 miles per hour for strike one. The Braves in the 6th will have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Teheran trying to keep it a 1-run game.
And the only reason he may not run is this is your hottest hitter right here. You want him to swing the bat. If he hits a ball in the gap, you got to run. You don't know what he's going to do. He's got the power. That would be the only reason that he doesn't run in this situation. Typically, he's probably going to run. Go ahead, Joe.
2 balls and a strike. See if he takes off here. Teheran is just begging Rendon to step out and begging these fans to get on his case.
I'm not sure he's got as many pitches as he had shakes right there. But I'm with you, Harold. I think we know Rendon has been on his fastball with the breaking ball count. He's going to go fastball away. Now fastball in.
Start and stop at first, and ball 3 down and in.
Not a lot of conviction with that.
Well, I mean, that's the other piece of it. If you're Teheran, you know you've got a great move. You're worried about a guy stealing, and now he's in a 3-1 count behind to arguably the hottest hitter in the lineup for the Nationals. You don't get him, you're dealing with Worth with a guy in scoring position.
See, and this is the lost art of those that argue against stealing bases. You don't have to run. Because of the threat, it's changed this whole approach for Rendon. Now he's going to get fastballs. We've seen a couple of them, and take the attention away from the pitcher looking over and throwing over to the first baseman a lot. He forgets about the hitter.
3-1 pitch is in for strike 2.
Quick pitch.
He did, because he wanted that fastball in and it came over the plate. But as you said, he really varied his time and delivered it so quickly after he came set. He surprised Rendon.
He usually gets that little bob in the leg 2 times and then he sets. That time he didn't do it. See that right there?
Runner goes on 3-2, and a strikeout ends the inning. Teheran wins that little battle with Rendon. And Denard Span at first. 6th inning rolls in. Big bats coming up for the Braves, down by 1. Sponsored by Bayer Back and Body, the official pain reliever of MLB. And by Burger King. Right now, try the new extra long barbecue cheeseburger. 6th inning, well pitched game. Pfister back to the hill, and here is Upton doing what, Harold, you'd like to see him do more of, drop down a bunt.
Wow, that shocked me. You know, and here's the deal: is you draw that third baseman in right there, and now that changes everything for you. When you show the bunt, it changes it all. For a guy who's struggling, if he's able to pick up a bunt hit here and there, that gets you going on another roll. I just think it's a weapon that he hasn't used. I know a lot of people say, hey, don't bunt, you might hit a ball in the ballpark, different things, but when you run like he does, you can steal bases and affect the game when you're on base. It's just another weapon you got to apply.
Fly ball into right center, Worth to his right, one away. Good matchups next week on Baseball Night in America, and it starts right up at the top with the Red Sox and the Yankees, Braves and Phillies, Nationals and Cubs, Cardinals at the Dodgers. So good matchups starting at 7 Eastern on Fox, and for the Red Sox-Yankee game, at least at this point, Masahiro Tanaka is scheduled to start for New York. He currently has 11 wins and an ERA of under 2. Tom, I would say his transition to baseball over here has gone pretty well.
Pretty good for a number 3 starter. Remember when GM Brian Cashman did that, really to take some pressure off of him. But he is a star in every sense of the word, Joe. I mean, you could see it in terms of his stuff, but just the mound presence, the personality, just a joy to watch pitch.
What do you guys think of the possibility of him being Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year? He's in that running for all those right now.
Well, without him, I mean, the Yankees are sunk here early, and they've righted the ship.
Yeah.
The Yankees. Here's a foul ball right side by Freeman. The count 2-2. New York started the day just a game and a half out. So while Toronto had lost 7 of 10 coming in, they were getting blown out last I saw earlier today. So they did lose. New York lost to Baltimore. So now the Orioles are 2.5 out. Boston stays 7.5 out, and that division is seemingly wide open as the count stays 2-2 on Freeman.
It's going to be a crazy finish all the way around, you know. And the thing about it is, as we approach the trade deadline coming up in July, who's going to make that big move, and who's going to give up a player, and where is the player coming from?
With 1 out, count stays 2-2, and you say that because there are just so many more teams that are involved, especially now with an extra chance at a playoff spot in each league. I mean, everything tightens up. Good players are going to be hard to find, except for a Samardzija or somebody on a team that's just out of it.
Or the move we don't see coming.
Here's a fly ball into center. Easy for Span off the bat of Freeman. 2 up.
Freddie Gonzalez told us it's probably that one GM who does something out of the box. All these teams bunched up together. That's the move you don't see coming. Someone does something really, I don't want to say crazy, but something that is not rumored, you don't see coming. I'll go back to 2004 when the Red Sox traded their star shortstop, Nomar Garciaparra, the trade deadline. People said, what are you doing? I think that one worked out okay.
Yeah, they ended up with Cabrera at short, who really played well. Down the stretch in the playoffs and through the World Series. Here's Gaddis with a shot into left center field. His hitting streak is now at 20. And while, Tom, I know you think he's going to be an all-star, as we watch the replay, we'll check in with Ken Rosenthal. And Ken, his trip to Target Field isn't that easy as a National League All-Star at catcher.
That's right, Joe, and you're right. He definitely should be an all-star, second in OPS among National League catchers. But the guy who is leading the fan voting, Yadier Molina, well, we all acknowledge him as a future Hall of Famer, but he's not having one of his better years. Jonathan Lucroy tops in OPS among National League catchers, an MVP candidate for the Brewers. Buster Posey could be a factor in the fan vote. Miguel Montero for the Diamondbacks having a big year as well. I see Gaddis making it, but it's a crowded field.
First pitch up and away for a ball to Jason Hayward.
I was going to say, Ken, it's a fan's game, though. You know, that's why we have the voting. And I know Yadi's putting a little wrinkle in it. Statistically, it may not be there, but that's what I love about it. I mean, it's for the fans.
I don't know. To me, he should go out today, buy a non-refundable ticket to Minneapolis for the game. Evan Gattis. I mean, first of all, it's a great story, but most of all, he definitely deserves to be there.
No doubt, and I think he will be. But there's a lot of guys that deserve to be there that don't end up being at an All-Star game, and it's sad. But at the end of the day, the reason we have the All-Star game and we have the fan voting is for the fans, and I just think it's important. Every club represented. I think the fans got to have a big voice. And I'd hate to see politically people come back and go, take that away because they're not picking the right players.
That is up and in. The count 3-1 on Jason Hayward, who's 0 for 2. You saw the numbers for Lucroy with the Brewers, and then right behind him is Gattis, who now has a 20-game hitting streak. On base for the second time tonight, a guy who was out of the game of baseball. That is foul. A rocket off the bat of Hayward. And a nice play down the right field line. A young lady with a glove, and then hands away the souvenir.
Bullet. It's a heck of a play. Off the carom, off the wall.
1 on, 2 out. Runner will go on a 3-2 pitch to Jason Hayward. That's hard hit and foul. That means Gattis will have to come back to the bag. But it's been, for Evan Gattis, it's been a year and a half of just thumping the baseball, playing the outfield, now taking over at catcher. And you're right. I mean, he's a good emotional story in this game. Somebody who's come seemingly out of nowhere. He doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
No, that's a great story. And I think with the DH in the American League ballpark, he's going to make that team somewhere anyway.
Here's ball 4 to Hayward. 2 on, 2 out with Upton coming up. First walk of the night for Pfister. Gattis battled depression, took odd jobs, just trying to get his life right. He's at second base. Hayward at first base, and Justin Upton, who's driven in 37 and who's tied for 6th in the league with his 14 home runs, is digging his way in.
Yeah, and Justin Upton was battling with dizziness the last couple of days, and is back in the lineup for the first time tonight.
Ball 1.
That was actually scary for the Braves. Weren't sure whether it was something to do with the inner ear. It just had him really examined head to toe, and come to find out it really was a reaction to some allergies.
Could tie the game with a hit. Count in his favor now, 2-0. Checked out of a game on Tuesday against Philadelphia in the 7th. His first game back. Saw a doctor yesterday, got medication, and after taking early batting practice, told his manager Freddie Gonzalez he was ready to go.
And this is the situation they want him in. 2-0.
2-1.
Looks like their big opportunity. You always have one big shot in a game. And I know there's 2 outs, so the rally isn't as prolonging opportunity-wise.
Got him off the hands and a pop-up on the infield. Jammed him, and the inning is over. Pfister's made some pitches. Gets around his first walk of the night, which followed the 4th hit he had allowed tonight. A look at the White House, bottom of the 6th, 1-0 Nationals. By Moto G from Motorola. Rendon has the only RBI of the night. Doug Fister's been outstanding, and right there with him is Julio Teheran. Evan Gattis has extended his hitting streak to 20 games. And look at the night for Teheran. 8 strikeouts through 5, 1 run on 5 hits. Pitch number 68 is ball 1 to Jason Worth.
Yeah, and you go back to the base hit he gave up to Rendon. You can almost look at that as a mental mistake. You're not pitching around him and recognizing the defense, the offense that you're facing with Worth struggling at the time. And Tom, you were dead on that at that point.
Well, it's really only one mistake. His location was a mistake as well, but he's pitched well against Worth. Worth now 3 for 18, so he had the history in his favor as well in terms of not giving it to Rendon and pitching to Worth.
I mean, if you look at Worth's reaction after that strike right there, that's the Gumby shoulders of I don't know what he's going to throw me. I mean, he was locked in. Now he's sitting there going, okay, I was going to get a good pitch to hit. He threw me a curveball, froze me. I have no idea what's coming.
Popped up right side, foul territory, long run, and out of room is Freddie Freeman.
Ouch. Big Bubba got hit in the shoulder right there trying to catch that ball.
Bring your glove to the ballpark next time. Hey, this guy's got the glove. He's not reaching for it.
Ouch! Right on the left shoulder. Glove. Oh, he's got. He just shanked it. Wow. And Bubba.
1-2 the count on Jason Worth. Reaching for it. Checks on the best. Woo. How's that arm, Harold Reynolds? 1 out.
I could watch that all day. I was like, all right, he hit a ground ball to Simmons. I hope you get to see a treat at home. This is a laser across the diamond.
Normal speed, which is abnormal with what he can do with his arm over the top from a play to his right at short.
Incredible. It's fun to watch.
Adam LaRoche is at the plate, 1 for 2 on the night. Ball 1.
Tell you what, you talk about getting no love. Adam LaRoche has really played good ball last year and a half, 2 years here.
2-0.
Gold glove quality at first base.
I mean, the year
power in the 4-hole.
Yeah, the year they made the run through the playoffs, and you could have argued that he was the MVP.
He certainly was for this Nats team. Did get some support in MVP voting. Just quietly goes about his job, and one of the most patient hitters in baseball.
1 out, nobody on. 2-0 the count. Talking about 2012 in that divisional series. It came down to game 5. The Nationals blew a 6-0 lead after 3, and a 7-5 lead after 8. Lost 9-7. Heartbreak in what was a great scene here at Nationals Park.
And they had the Natitude was born.
They won the East. They shut down Strasburg. They didn't have his services that postseason. Here's a dangerous foul ball into the seats.
3-0 count. Turned him loose.
Well, you talked about his plate discipline, Tom. Then that's what 3-0 is. You're disciplined enough as a hitter that the manager can trust you that you're going to swing at a pitch that you can handle. And he got a pitch he can handle. He pulled it foul, but he hit it hard.
See what he does with a count of 3-1. Full count. It's been 94 consecutive batters since Teheran last walked a guy.
Wow.
Trying to battle back here against LaRoche. Three-2. Down the left field line, out of play.
See, I've always thought when a guy has a 3-0 count and he swings on a green light, that's the utmost respect to the pitcher. It's basically, I don't have any other opportunity. I'm going to hit you, and I know you're going to be bringing it at me. This is my one shot. It's respect. That's incredible, Joe. What was that, 94?
94. And it ends right here.
Nice going, Harold.
A 1-out walk.
That wasn't my fault. That was Joe brought the stat.
And it was 94 batters in between walks for Julio Teheran.
I double asked you, so I double jinxed him. I guess that was it.
1 on, 1 out. Ryan Zimmerman.
I take the bullet.
Will dig his way in. Ryan has struck out, fly to left. Got off to a good start. 364 through the 12th of April. And then he suffered the broken right thumb. Playing in just his 28th game of the season, he takes ball 1 down and in.
Well, it takes him a little while to get going, but when he gets hot, he gets hot. And I thought on the last road trip he was starting to really come around. And that is because watch how high his leg kick is. It's one thing to have a leg kick, but he is like mule kicking. Watch how high he kicks his leg on this swing. And it takes a lot to get all that time in. When he gets it right, he gets it right.
Saw Gaddis go through just about every pitch that Teheran had. Fastball in, fastball away. Back to fastball away, fastball in. Change. Breaking ball.
He's overthinking big time.
Back to change. Gaddis gave up. He said, I got nothing else for you.
Look at them staring each other down. This is I'm a little ticked off. This isn't just they're staring each other down. Let's go. You ready? There's going to be a conversation off of this.
And that's a balk. He didn't step back. That's going to send the runner to second. And that's just pure frustration by Teheran. He didn't step off. He stepped forward because he's ticked off that he can't get on the same page with Evan Gaddis. Watch him step forward instead of back off the rubber. And that's a balk.
Yep.
That is the first balk of the year for Teheran. And we've seen this is not just happening in this inning. This has happened a couple times tonight.
Yeah, it has. And you're right. You nailed it, Joe. That's just pure frustration. But you'd think that these two are on the same page. Eventually, somebody's got to follow your catcher eventually. But at the end of the day, it just shows you the pitcher makes the final decision on any sign. A lot of people that don't think that is the case, that's what happens.
Here's a 1-0 pitch on the outside corner. So Zimmerman has the easier RBI chance here in the 6th, up 1-0.
Well, I think it's a great point. We had a situation here last night with Steven Strasburg. Threw 19 pitches to Jason Hayward, 18 of them fastballs. In one sequence, 7 in a row. The last was a run-scoring double. And Strasburg complained after the game that was the plan, to go with fastballs to Jason Hayward. Well, you always have the opportunity to shake the catcher, as Julio Teheran has reminded us multiple times in this game. You have to throw the pitch with conviction if you're the pitcher. It has to be your pitch.
Well, now it's made more difficult as Gaddis has to go through more signs with a runner at second. That's back up the middle, of base hit. They're going to bring LaRoche to the plate. He'll score to make it 2-0. And the frustration has to mount for Julio Teheran.
Yeah, but here's where you got to have a conversation at the mound. I'm surprised you just got to sit and settling down here. We may see the pitching coach come out and have a conversation. Here comes Simmons again.
And Teheran just staring off. Frustration just dripping off him.
Yeah, the body language has just been bad. And it really, to me, goes back to the full count pitch to LaRoche. And that sequence of pitches.
Here comes Roger now. This is a great move by pitching coach Roger McDowell to come out.
Here's the leg kick by Ryan Zimmerman. Well, now a visit from Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire, as Roger McDowell's getting talked to, and now Gaddis stays a little longer. 2 quick conversations with Simmons, and these two aren't getting on here tonight.
You know, and I thought it was great for Roger to come out at that point in time. It's like, all right, somebody's got to take charge here, and that's what he does as a pitching coach. That's a great time to have a conversation. Just settle it down. You're still in the ball game. It's only 2-0.
The batter is Ian Desmond, homered last night. Shortstop has hit 14 home runs. 1 on, 1 out, 1-1 pitch.
You know what's interesting too, Joe, is that a lot of times when you're calling pitch overs, step off, all those different things, and that might have been part of the reason why too, when he had the runner at first base. Both these things started with runners at first base, and it might be, I don't want to step over, I don't want to throw over.
Here's a 1-0. Gaddis tried to frame it. It's 2-0.
As you can see, he's just getting the ball. He's not even looking at first base. He's just getting the ball and throwing a pitch now. Whereas before he was picking over. We were talking about how great his move was, all those things.
He's got to get himself harnessed back into the strike zone and refocused on the hitter. Little glance over at first. That guy Zimmerman's going nowhere. That's ball 3.
Yeah, this is more mental than anything, because he's the ultimate strike thrower that you were talking about earlier with the 94 straight without a walk, 94 hitters straight. So this is more mental.
Well, they turn LaRoche loose on 3-0. It counts 3-0 on Desmond, who can hit the ball a long way. That's a borderline pitch called strike 1.
Got a break.
He did get a break. 3-0 count. Strike zone tends to morph a little bit, get a little bigger.
A lot bigger. That ball's in.
So now Desmond with a mild protest. A little longer time out of the box, and he gets back in with a 3-1 count. Strike 2. I think Desmond would have an argument that either one of those last 2 was ball 4.
Yeah, and now you're what's curious for me is, will Zimmerman take off and start running in this situation now? 3-2, 1 out.
He stays put on a foul. Zimmerman with protection on that right hand after suffering the broken right thumb, and Desmond in a battle with Julio Teheran.
That was an interesting sign sequence from Gaddis there. First call for the change and then put down fastball away. And when Teheran shook that, he put fastball down away again with emphasis, saying, this is the pitch I want you to throw. Didn't go to another sign. And then Teheran stayed with the fastball away. A lot of trouble this inning between pitcher and catcher getting on the same page.
Gaddis has not caught a ton of games, especially at the big league level. 3-2 pitch is fouled away. But he's it behind the plate now. Brian McCann signing that deal with the Yankees.
Well, and you know, it comes down to, and this might be a moment that we see this change, because eventually Evan Gaddis is going to be the guy saying, look, here's what we're doing. He may be getting that sign from Roger McDowell too, saying, hey, I'm calling the pitches. That might have been what he said.
Caught only 42 games last year as Desmond was ready to unleash. Count stays 3-2.
Teheran knew he got away with one right there.
You don't usually see pitches called. They're usually talking about the running game, throw over, step off, stuff like that. And so clearly Rogers not calling anything here. He's probably not running that part of the game.
Another 3-2. A strikeout for out number 2. And for Teheran, it ties the season high with his 9th.
Fastball looked like it had a little bit of anger behind it. Above the hands, good location. One of the best fastballs he's thrown tonight.
Tells you a lot about him too, being able to recover after all that. And Evan Gattis, I love the fact he took control. Somebody had to. I love that.
There's Espinosa, who's 0 for 2. Desmond with 3 of the 9 strikeouts. Frustration, a lapse in concentration by Teheran, and that balk has led to a run as Espinosa takes a strike. Nationals will take anything they can get against Atlanta, having lost 7 of 8. They played against the Braves so far this season. This is the 9th of 19 meetings between these two teams in 2014. That's strike 2.
To see the Braves coaching staff, I think there's going to be a long conversation at the end of this half inning. It may be down the tunnel, it may not be somewhere we can see it, but there will be a conversation, no doubt. That just can't happen.
Here's an 0-2. Ball 1. Well, less than 100 big league games caught for Evan Gattis. He's still learning. He's impressed Freddie Gonzalez, his manager, and he said if he ever gets into a tight spot, he'll look in and get help from pitching coach Roger McDowell. But I mean, how valuable has Gattis been to this team with what he's done with the bat?
It's been terrific.
A strikeout ends the inning, and that's 10 on the night. But a conversation will be had, you have to think, between Teheran, Gattis, McDowell, Gonzalez, maybe even Bobby Cox will weigh in. Who knows? After 6 at Nationals Park. 2-0. Washington on top. A 2-0 game into the 7th. Doug Fister has allowed no runs on just 4 Atlanta hits. Started the season on the disabled list, does not have a complete game. This will be pitch number 89 on the night for Fister. That's driven into left field for a base hit. Off the bat of Chris Johnson. He's on to start this 7th inning. And we go back to Julio Teheran coming off after the bottom of the 6th inning. His frustration with a little cap flip and then into the dugout. First guy to talk to him was the pitching coach, Roger McDowell, as he was trying to get a moment alone down at the end of the dugout. And then eventually it was Teheran and the catcher Gaddis finally talking after some frustration that was apparent to all, as a strike is in to Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, I think we won't see that again from those two guys. That'll get ironed out, and somebody eventually, a lot of times a veteran catcher becomes that guy. No, this is the pitch you're throwing, and we saw that mature even through this at bat when Tom pointed that out about Gaddis, saying, no, here's the fastball, you're throwing it. So
0-2 the count on Simmons. So they're down there talking, and wherever the frustration started, if you're Julio Teheran, you end up costing yourself. And it looked like he just gave him a little fist pump.
Fist pump.
Yeah, to be continued. And also in National League Baseball, you know, as a starting pitcher, if your team's trailing, you don't get a third at bat. Teheran pretty much out of this game at this point, you would think.
The only thing that would keep him in is the worn-out bullpen by the Atlanta Braves.
Great point. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, they go 13 last night, and they've done it 3 times in the last
basically week.
Yeah.
And they've had to put Carpenter on the disabled list. They've been so worn out in that pen. Teheran is in the on-deck circle, and there's nobody warming up in the bullpen.
Well, and they're still in this game. I mean, it's a 2-run game, and this is one of those clubs that lives by the sword, dies by the sword. They feel like they can get a 2-run home run or something to put them right back in it. Nobody's even moving out there, Tom.
Yeah, they will. I got a hit for him. I've got 9 outs left, down 2. I'm not giving away now.
He hits. Here's a pop-up left side. In foul territory, Rendon 1 out.
It would have helped had Simmons got a hit. Now it becomes a tougher situation to question what Freddie might do.
He's going to let Teheran hit. He's got a worn-out bullpen.
I'm with you. I'm with you. We're not listening to Tom.
So he'll walk in, Teheran, 1 on, 1 out after the foul out by Simmons, who's 1 for 3 on the night. And on top of that, Julio can swing the bat all right.
All right, in fairness, Tom, why would you not hit him?
Yeah, again, you're down to 8 outs. I mean, you're going to bunt here to bunt up a guy with 2 outs.
Interesting, because last time up, down 1-0, they weren't bunting with Teheran, and now he at least shows it. I don't buy the bunt.
I don't either. I hate that.
He's showing it early, and looks like he can swing it better than he can bunt it.
Yeah, after saying that, I would take the bunt off.
Well, not even that. It's just you're just giving him an out. I don't get that. Not in this situation. You're down 2. You're not down 1 and hoping you get a base hit.
Got 4 hits this season, 4 out of 37, 0 for 2 tonight.
And if he hits into a double play, so what? You start at the top of the order next half inning.
1 ball, 1 strike. It's not exactly murderer's row over in the dugout and on the bench for the Atlanta Braves either.
You do have professional hitters there, though. I mean, you can get 1 more inning out of Teheran. You're going to sacrifice this at bat for 3 outs of your starting pitcher?
At this point, with their bullpen as worn out as it is, I think they'll take that absolutely all day.
Yeah, I agree. They got a win last night. You play to win the series, and you play for next week as well. If it wasn't for the worn out bullpen and Joe making that great point, Tom being the judge today, I have to go with Joe.
1 and 2
Judge
the
Harold.
count.
Oh, we're in trouble.
Runner at
Look
first
out,
after
Judge Judy.
leadoff hit by Johnson, a foul out by Simmons, and now the bunt with 2 strikes. And there's out number 2. So he gets the bunt down. He advances the runner Johnson on a sacrifice. 2-4 with the catcher Lobaton feeding Espinoza. And back to the top of the order, Tommy La Stella.
It might sound funny, but sometimes it's easier to bunt with 2 strikes than it is earlier in the count, because now you're trying to make sure you're just getting it down with 2 strikes. You're eliminating all the thinking. And you know Fister's going to throw him a strike, and he knows he's the pitcher, might try to get him out, and you got a chance to advance him. I don't like the bunt there, but if he's going to bunt and you got him over, maybe it happens too.
Listella takes a ball inside. Tommy's 0 for 3 in this game. He's got 6 RBIs. The rookie second baseman, who walked on at St. John's, left, ended up at Coastal Carolina.
It's really a great story. As a high school junior in the summer, he quit playing baseball. His parents said, yeah, you can stop playing baseball, but you need to get yourself a job. He actually got a job on a farm, and part of his chores was feeding a donkey every night. And he said the donkey had a bad attitude. And he said every night he'd go feed the donkey and say to himself, you know what, I really should be playing baseball. And he's dead serious when he says if not for a donkey with a bad attitude, he wouldn't be a major leaguer.
Well, there you go.
I don't know if there's any donkeys with good attitudes, but this wasn't one of them.
That's a great story.
Just the one voiced by Eddie Murphy. He was friendly. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball right side. Espinosa, the easy play. 7 shutout innings put out by Doug Fister on a cool night in our nation's capital. A great place to visit with an Nats up 2-zip. Box is sponsored by Budweiser Designated Driver, and enjoy the great times. And by the new Samsung Galaxy S5. The next big thing is here. The Game Changer Profile brought to you by T-Mobile, official sponsor of Game Changers. Bryce Harper, he's only played in 22 games. This opening day lineup for the Nationals has only been together for 6 innings. And that's because Wilson Ramos, the catcher, was injured in the season opener. And you see he's missed the last 48 games with the ligament damage in his thumb. He is working his way back. Ken Rosenthal is with us, and he's getting close, Kenny.
He's real close. In fact, Joe, he's going to start a rehabilitation assignment with Class A Potomac on Monday. Saw the doctor today, got cleared to play. He's been taking batting practice the last several days. Looks great. Should be about a week to 10 days away.
Hey, Ken, he put on a show for you, huh?
He put on a show for everyone, Harold.
Here is a pitch outside. The count 2-0 from Tehran. They've still got Livan Hernandez here throwing batting practice to guys. And so whether it's Ryan Zimmerman before Bryce Harper. They've got a guy who pitched forever, it seemed like, in the big leagues. Checking him out. Here's ball 3 up and away. Here's the worst thing that can happen, Tom Verducci.
I know where you're going.
Is if you let Tehran hit down 2-0 in the top of the 7th, under 100 pitches, and then he goes out and he's ineffective, and you have to take him out anyway.
And think about the stress pitches that he had to make last inning.
That's ball 4, a leadoff walk.
Now the other part of it too, guys, is maybe it had something to do with the conversation between those two. You don't want him to leave the night with he and Evan Gattis at words with each other. Maybe that has something to do with it too. So you go back out. You guys get on the same page, because we're going to need you on the same page the rest of the season. You're going back out.
Well, he gets to deal with the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, but he just lost Lobaton with his second walk in as many innings. And the batter is Doug Fister, the pitcher, who's 0 for 1 with a good bunt, a strikeout. He's up there to bunt here, and he drops down another perfect bunt. He was being wasted in the American League with what he can do with a bat.
I'm telling you, he's perfected it. And again, up front, and as soon as you bunt the ball, you want that ball to bounce in fair territory, not foul. You got a gift too, a ball down low, right there, perfect placement. That's as good a bunt as you're going to see.
And as soon as he walked Lobaton, the bullpen phone rang.
And so even if they don't get in the game, they have to get up.
They got to get up. They used 2 guys last night for 1 inning apiece who made their major league debut. Tell me you have nobody to throw?
Loose. Simmons getting loose. Denard Span at the plate. Sacrifice was good. Lobaton at second, already up 2-0, needing a win, are the Nationals here tonight to break this spell that the Braves have had on them, having lost 7 of 8 this season. And it goes back to August of 2012. They've lost 24 of 31 to Atlanta.
Now that's about the 3rd or 4th pitch Tehran has missed up and away to the arm side. Classic tip-off of a guy getting fatigued.
Here's a 1-0. 2-0.
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
You want to rethink your decision?
No, that wasn't the question. The question is, why is he letting him hit? Is to take the load off the bullpen if he can.
Tom's not going to lose an argument.
All right, that's fine.
I see the point. I get the point. Clearly, Freddie agrees with you. He's trying to save his bullpen. I'm trying to win the game.
I'm trying to win the season.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Popped up into center. Now, what if he pitches a scoreless inning? Here's Upton.
And we're geniuses, Joe. I'm still there. I still think it's the move they had to make. And I think you got to look at the season. I think that's what Freddie's looking at. I really do. I mean, you can argue, and you got a great point, Tom. You get the bullpen up. Why didn't you bring him in anyway? But I really think that you got to look long term on this whole situation. Joe, I don't know if I'm speaking a bit too much on this, but I think he and Gattis had to get back on the same page too before the next outing.
A visit from Roger McDowell. Here's that situation again with first base open, a runner at second, 2 out. Worth the next hitter, and Rendon, who's been hot 2 out of 3, will be the hitter. Later tonight, our MLB doubleheader in about a half hour continues over on Fox Sports 1 as Adrian Beltre and the Rangers take on Mike Trout and the Angels. Our MLB doubleheader continues at 10 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Good game in the AL West. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com right now. So McDowell back. Runner at second, 2 out.
All right, what would you do here, Harold? You put him on or you pitch around him?
You know, it's crazy to think I'm definitely going to pitch around him. I might even put him on. Just because. He's the hottest hitter right now.
Betting they go right after him. Strike 1.
I'm with you. They will. No, I'm saying Joe's right. They're going to. I'm just saying he's their hottest hitter. I wouldn't play with him.
Rendon with 2 hits and RBIs, driven at 41. Average up to 272. A little bit high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I find it interesting watching Simmons in between pitches. With 2 outs, he was doing this the last time, trying to keep him close at second base so he's not going to score. But generally with 2 outs, you say, I'm backing up and I'm knocking the ball down, keeping it in the infield.
That bounces in. The count 2-1. Remember, Lobaton was just in ahead of a throw by the center fielder B.J. Upton when he scored in the 3rd inning on a 2-out hit by Rendon. A strike, then 2 consecutive out of the zone, and now a fly ball into center. Back is Upton on the run, won't get it. 1 hop off the wall, it's 3-0. And Rendon has done it again. 2nd RBI of the night. 3-0 here in the 7th. And a 3-hit night for the young infielder, Anthony Rendon.
Well, he's hitting everything. That's a breaking ball. He hammers to dead center. And when you're hitting balls to center, you're on everything. He's the hottest hitter on this club right now. Here's a breaking pitch, doesn't really break a whole lot, and he doesn't miss it. It's lucky he kept it in the ballpark, to be honest with you.
Yep, hanging slider up at the eyes. Earlier he got him on the 2-0 fastball.
And Tehran will continue and deal with Jason Worth. Worth 0 for 3 tonight. Pitch number 107 from Julio Tehran, the 23-year-old.
And again, the reason we brought up the possibility of at least pitching around Rendon, the numbers Worth against Tehran, now 3 for 19.
He's popped up, struck out, grounded out. And he's grounded out again. Simmons takes care of it. Rendon, a 3-hit night. He's driven home 2. He's added to the lead. 3-0 after 7 for the Nationals. First pitch swinging is B.J. Upton as we begin the 8th inning. Right guys coming up for Atlanta, down 3-0. But Doug Fister has been in charge. The hits allowed, all singles, 5 of them tonight by Atlanta. There's a strike. And they count 0-2. And now a 3-0 lead for Doug Fister as he tries to win his 6th game of the year. Right-hander getting ready is Aaron Barrett. Ball 1.
This is as good a rhythm you've seen Fister in all year. You know, he had a little struggle out on the West Coast against Oakland. He got beat up. Didn't pitch real well. He's got back in sync ever since coming off the disabled list I'm talking about. And this is the best game I've watched him. He looks like he's in full strength now. It's into the 8th.
Well, he had that first start at Oakland off the DL from that lat strain. He lost, then reeled off 5 in a row, coming off a loss in St. Louis. A disappointing sweep for the Nationals at the hands of the Cardinals last weekend. Here's a chopper to short. True hop for Desmond, 1 away. So Doug Fister gets the first out in the 8th. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball, presents the walk-off. Great walk-offs are waiting at foxsports.com/Budweiser. Grab some buds. And that was Doug walking off after the top of the 7th. He's back for the top of the 8th. 1 out. Freddie Freeman, strike 1.
You want to see how the game has changed? You're down 3 in the 8th, and the first 2 hitters of the inning swing at the first pitch. Right?
Yeah, not a bad idea against this guy, though. He's not going to walk too many people. We know that. Yeah. That's the Braves' MO. Really impressed, as you said, though. Fister, the game he's thrown here today, really in command. Braves' best chance happened to be in that first inning. You see the 3 strikeouts, really pitches to contact and weak contact. He's a guy who actually helps run when he starts the defensive meetings for the Nationals. Not every pitcher will do that. We'll talk to the defense about how he wants to pitch to pitchers and where he wants his defenders. Really a real student of the game.
1-1 pitch is on the inside corner. You talk about rhythm, Kenny. How's that rhythm look from down in the dugout?
It looks really good, and he has a fascinating, unusual approach to maintaining his tempo. He told pitching coach Steve McCatty, "Don't ever tell me to slow down, just tell me to speed up." Now, most pitchers, it's the exact opposite. They occasionally need a breather, but Fister says that when he slows down, he sometimes loses his mechanics. Like Harold said, he thinks pitching is a rhythm. He even compares it to dancing, and he said that he listens to country music before starts, then takes that tempo out onto the mound.
Oh, Ken, that's a little bit of an oxymoron for me. Country music and dancing? Is he line dancing or what?
People dance to country music, Harold. Come on.
Okay, all right. I figured that out.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Fouled back. Good rip by Freddie Freeman.
No, Ken's dead on it. You know, the rhythm is so key. And when you face a pitcher like this that gets in such a great rhythm, it's almost like he's unstoppable.
Gets it, throws it, and gets another foul off the bat of Freeman.
I wish more guys would do it because it makes the game more enjoyable. I'll tell you that.
There's no doubt. He puts on a clinic every time he makes a start as to the kind of pace you want to a big league game. And when you combine that, Tom, with throwing strikes,
yeah, that was
a big deal.
That was a great picture there. He called out Lobaton in that situation. He's the more experienced guy. He knows what pitch he wants to throw right here, full count to Freddie Freeman.
B.J. Upton grounded out. Freeman out in front. Pulls it foul.
You know, and to your point, Tom, he called out the catcher that time, brought him out because he's got more experience. I think tonight was a huge step for the Atlanta Braves and for Evan Gattis. That whole thing that went on there, now he knows I'm in charge.
He had him off balance. Clunker to second as Espinosa gets the out, 2 down.
When they have a situation, when they go through what they went through tonight with Tehran shaking off, eventually somebody's got to take charge. And Gattis, I think, tonight realized that's my job, that's my responsibility, and you're going to listen to me in a tough spot like that. It's a big step moving forward. I don't think we'll see that again.
As long as Tehran's willing to listen and follow direction out on the mound.
True.
We saw Freddie Gonzalez chimed in as well after that last inning when Tehran came off the field.
Strike one on Gaddis.
One-sided conversation with Gonzalez doing most of the talking.
Still learning. The right-hander Tehran got a 6-year, $32 million extension. Gaddis pops one into right. How about the night for Doug Fister? Worth is there, and another perfect inning by the 30-year-old right-hander from Merced, California. 8 shutout frames put up by Doug Fister in his first year with Washington. He leads the Braves 3-zip. Sponsored by Moto G from Motorola and by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Capitol just down the street. Beautiful night, little breeze, chilly. And we remind you that Major League Baseball, People Magazine, and Target are recognizing teachers in your community. Vote for the teacher who will represent your team. The upcoming All-Star Game, July 15th on Fox. Log on to allstarteachers.com and vote today. Bottom of the 8th inning. Nationals jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the 3rd. Added to it in the 6th and the 7th with single runs, and it's been all Doug Fister, who has been outstanding here tonight. Ball 1 to LaRoche. And now line drive into right center field. Hayward going to get it. Nice jump. And Juan Jaime gets the first man he faces. Adam LaRoche, one away. Here's Kevin Burkhardt with an update. Should just about time up, Kevin, is the way this thing has gone to this point. 3-0 game, bottom of the 8th inning, 1 out. And Juan Jaime, who is a former draft pick of this Nationals organization, made his major league debut last night, struck out 2. Was 6 years in the minor leagues with the Nationals.
Sometimes you need to find new life somewhere else. Just happens. That's part of the game.
And out of necessity, they brought him up. Here's another one into right center field, and Hayward goes to get it. Gets a great jump. And for a big man who can play center field or either of the corner positions, he can really chase down fly balls.
It's a big difference maker when you compare the Braves to a lot of other clubs. is their outfield can go get the ball, and they're going to give you a chance to. Those are 2 balls that are scorched that watch a lot of games. Those are doubles or triples against other teams. Jason Hayward ran those balls down. That's impressive stuff. I think a Puig, maybe another right fielder, goes to get that ball.
That may be it.
That might be it.
Yeah, those are the 2 best right fielders in the league.
Strike 1 on Desmond.
Maybe Reddick, Oakland.
Good
Stanton,
pick.
maybe.
Giancarlo Stanton.
But I don't know, man. Jason got a great jump, and he can run. That was great plays.
Strike 2. Maybe the Braves found something with a guy who can light up a radar gun.
Always had a big time arm. Missed a couple of years with Tommy John surgery. Bounced from Washington, the Arizona system. Twice claimed on waivers. Command has been an issue. Command and health, but there's no question right now about velocity.
He gets a foul straight back by Desmond, who has struck out 3 times tonight. He's happy to see Tehran out of the ballgame.
Did you see Evan Gattis, the difference here? Like he was shaking his head, so the pitcher would shake his head no. Then he put the sign down.
Yeah,
you know,
he wanted to go to the fastball. Desmond knows he's got that curveball.
But part of it is you have to know the pitcher's following you. He's calling this game now. He's not worried about. He's the one calling these pitches.
The 0-2. Breaking ball struck him out. And he has pitched scoreless baseball since coming up. Has Juan Jaime. We go into the 9th inning. Last chance for the Braves. Down 3-0. All-Star game for Derek Jeter, and by the way, a couple of rosters jam-packed with the best and the brightest. Coming up on July 15th in Minneapolis, Target Field. Special coverage begins at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1 on that Tuesday afternoon, followed by the 2014 All-Star game at 7:30 right here on Fox. Here's Rafael Soriano taking over and firing strike 1 to Jason Hayward to start the 9th inning, up 3-0. Pfister outstanding. 8 innings, no runs, 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, a hit batsman through 117 pitches, which is the only reason why he is no longer in the game. Here's a broken bat Floating line drive caught by Desmond, one away.
You saw the speed of Desmond right here. Take off, the explosion, first step. You hear that so often in sports. And that sent him on his way to catch this. I thought that ball was going to fall off the bat.
Instead, Hayward ends the night 0 for 3 with a walk. We'll bring in Justin Upton. When you start looking at the numbers for Soriano, even though for 1 year he was a setup man for Mariano Rivera, Soriano ranked second in saves since 2009 behind Jonathan Papelbon. That's among active MLB pitchers. Now that Mariano Rivera is no longer active, he has 174 saves, 14 more than Craig Kimbrell of the Braves, and 16 fewer than Papelbon of the Phillies. First pitch of ball. Now the next to Upton, ball 2.
You know, the time you spend with Mariano, he got a chance to spend a lot of time with him in New York and talk about certain situations. He knew he would be a closer eventually again, and he really got to pick Mariano's brain. You hear that passed on so much when you hear about the name of Mariano. He shared a lot of knowledge with a lot of pitchers.
3-0. Soriano can have that look about him of frustration at times, something you never saw from Mariano Rivera.
He didn't pass that on, huh?
I think he missed that lesson. Absent that day as he finds strike 1, 3-1. Pfister did it with his arm, and he did it in his own way with a bat here tonight. That strike 2 may have gone after ball 4, and now the count's full.
You know, one thing Soriano does well, stays out of the middle of the plate with all of his stuff. Fastball, slider, kind of a combination hybrid between slider, cutter.
That was his best cutter of the night right there. You see that ball explode right when Upton made his decision to swing.
Trying to reach for the first time tonight is Upton. He checks on the left side. High hop, Rendon. 2 out. Burger King play of the day. And you can look at many of them. You want to look at what he's done on the mound with his arm. You can look at what he did at the plate with a bat. 2 sacrifice bunts. Both guys he bunted over scored tonight. A tip of the cap. The King play of the day, player of the day. Either way, brought to you by Burger King. Final out. 2 out in the inning. Chris Johnson last hope to extend it for Atlanta. When the trade was made for Pfister, he was brought here. You see how good Pfister is, and he's shown that the last couple of years with Detroit. He was brought here to be the 4th starter. If you want to call Gio Gonzalez the 2nd starter, you've got Jordan Zimmerman, you've got Strasburg. Roark gets the ball tomorrow on Sunday. He's off to a great start. I mean, they are loaded in the rotation here when healthy in Washington.
And that's why you can't ever write them off. You look at the Nationals, not just the players on the field, but that pitching staff, and you talked about the rotation. It gives them a chance every night.
For their first-year manager, Matt Williams. That's ball 3.
It's got to be the best number 4 starter in baseball, huh, Doug Pfister? That's pure National League baseball the Nationals played tonight. As mentioned, Pfister's pitching and bunting, making do with an offense that was delivering the timely hits.
Here is a 3-0. 3-1.
I'm waiting to see him untuck, Joe.
That's his signature move. Untuck the shirt when his job is finished. Will it come on this pitch? Full count.
Well, speaking of fashion statements, the last couple of nights the Nationals have all decided to not button their top button on the jersey. Not that they're superstitious, but that's the go-to look right now for Washington, trying to get it going.
They've only been in Atlanta once this season. 2 out, nobody on, 9th inning. Should end it. Espinosa. Game over. Untuck it. And a 3-0 win for the Nationals over the Braves, as they take game 3 of this 4-game set in a 2-hour, 44-minute game. Fish to the winner, 6-2. Tehran the loser, 6-5. Save number 16 for that man, Rafael Soriano. For Harold Reynolds and Tom Verducci and Kenny Rosenthal, our producer Pete Macheska, director Bill Webb, Joe Buck will send it to the studio after this. So long from D.C.